I've been walking to this place all my life. I've seen this place in my mind a million times, and I knew exactly when I got here that this is where I was supposed to be. And I looked at Jay and I said, let's write the check. Blue Rock Station, it's really about happiness, and how do you create that? It's about the building you live in, it's about the land, it's about everything. I created the world that I want to live in, and all I can do is create that within the boundaries that I have in my life, and that's how it started. Food has been the center. My goal from day one was to have simple food. We've been fortunate in our management of our 34 acres of forest land.
But if you just come and
we have herbs, and we've grown all kinds of things. We started establishing a food forest, and we harvest food from there.
All right, did everybody get a chance to cut some of the mint? Smells pretty good. You can taste it while you work. It's really intense.
And we have always taught people how to make things with them. My happiest moments are when everybody's in the kitchen and we're all gathered around and everybody's working on food.
All right, and it's done.
From the beginning, I thought I would be buried here. We didn't ever think we would sell the land, but then I broke my leg and I had to learn to walk again. It became clear that we were going to need to leave Blue Rock Station. But what's going to happen to the land? Selling the land on the open market is definitely not Annie and Jay's style.
I grew up in an urban setting in a food insecure household, and we really struggled with where our next meal was going to come from. I started realizing that growing our own food could be a way to make sure that we had access to food at all times. But when I was ready to become a farmer, I realized that I couldn't afford land.
Farmland in the U.S. is at a point of multiple crisis and collapse. On average, farmland values across the United States have appreciated upwards of 40%. Farm income hasn't kept up. There's a generation of young farmers ready to step onto the land, and yet farmland is out of reach. Farm businesses are unaffordable. Farms are closing and farmland is being lost in communities across the United States. What we need is new models. Give some time to share about this, right?
The Farmers Land Trust protects and transitions farmland through the Farmland Commons model, which is a nonprofit entity which places land out of private ownership and into community ownership.
We take in donations of land and we raise money to acquire land at a discounted price.
And I know what needs to happen, and if they decide
We work with landowners who can donate land, or in this case with Blue Rock Station, what they have done is given the Farmers Land Trust an option to purchase their land.
The people from the Farmers Land Trust, they're authentic, they have an honesty and a transparency. I've been involved in every aspect of how we move forward.
Once land has been acquired, we lease that land out to a next generation farmer. They can either pass that lease on, or they can sell their lease to a next generation in order to exit. The lease is really unique in many ways, one of them being that the cost is far below market value.
A barrier to anyone who's going into farming is you're going to be in debt. Our dream is having land and being able to know where my food comes from. What the Farmers Land Trust does is it takes out that obstacle, so you can make the decisions that are the right decisions for your family and for your community.
So this is where Quinn and I started working. What Annie and Jay have done to this site is just tremendous, and it's been what we've envisioned ourselves living. We want to continue all of that love and energy that Annie and Jay have poured into Blue Rock Station.
as of yesterday. We have the right family. They have all the resources they need to make a living. They really do. And they have the right attitude. My grandma, she said, if you have land, you are the richest person on earth. If we get this right, guess what happens? Everybody wins.